Karim Adeyemi has been announced as a new signing for FC Barcelona. He's going to be joining them from Borussia Dortmund on a deal worth 22 million euros and an additional 7 million euros in add-ons for 5 years. And I want to quickly share my thoughts about this signing. For an ardent football follower, you probably know Karim Adeyemi from his days at RB Salzburg, but he actually did announce himself to the global football stage when he joined Borussia Dortmund in 2022 from Salzburg, and that year it also culminated in him making it to the World Cup with the German team at the World Cup in Qatar in 2022. Although he eventually got to play no part in that competition because even Germany themselves got eliminated in the group stage of that competition, so there was more or less no opportunity for him to even get to play. But he sort of announced himself to the global stage when he joined Borussia Dortmund, and he had a pretty much relatively better impact with the team when he joined initially. I think, in my opinion, his stock has seemed to have tanked somewhat since then, and it's also evident he failed to make the team to the current World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada. It was dropped, wasn't part of the team. So that's sort of like evident of the fact that his stock has since tanked since this period up until now. But I want to share my quick thought about him joining Barcelona. So let's take a look at this deeply. Do Barcelona need Karim Adeyemi, or do they need another attacker? If we look at the fact that Lewandowski left the team. He left Barcelona after the end of his contract, so he's going to be joining I think Chicago Fire in the MLS. Rafinha as well, he picked up an injury in the World Cup with Brazil, so he's not going to be he's going to be missing some part of the new season. Even someone like Fermin Lopez as well, who could also play on the wings, although we know he's a midfielder, but he could also play on the wings. He's also injured as well. So if you look at the fact that there are some holes that Barcelona needs to block in the attack, we would say they actually need a new attacker. They need Karim Adeyemi. For me, in terms of need, I will score this a 7 out of 10. Let's look at this from the angle of fit as well. Fit, does the style that Karim Adeyemi play, does it fit the Hansi Flick, the Barcelona style? We know that Karim Adeyemi in the past has had some relationship with Hansi Flick, right? And if you look at the style that Barcelona plays a more possession-based football. Karim Adeyemi is someone who is very fast, is very pacey, is very explosive. Is someone who is very useful when you are playing counter-attacking football. He can run, he can be very, very explosive. He can, plug into holes and run behind the defense, especially when you are playing a very high line. Karim Adeyemi is very useful in this kind of situation because I think Barcelona plays they play a more possession-based football. So players like Lamine Yamal, like Rafinha, who they already have in their books, they are a lot more suited to the style that Barcelona plays compared to like a Karim Adeyemi, whose biggest value or what he actually brings to the team is his pace, is the fact that he's very fast and very explosive. So if you look at it from that POV, I think it might not necessarily be a perfect fit for what Barcelona might be playing, but he offers Hansi Flick a different kind of weapon. So it's a different option, a different alternative, a different weapon to what he already has in the team. Karim Adeyemi is very explosive. He's someone who you can use if you want to punish the opposition, if you want to play like a different style where you need to run directly at the defense, you need someone who is very pacey, you want to play some counter-attacking football. Karim Adeyemi is very useful in this kind of game. So is an extra tool. He's not necessarily coming to compete with maybe a Rafinha, a Lamine Yamal, and also the fact that he could also play across the attack as well. They can use him on the right wing if they want, on the left wing. He could also play centrally, although his finishing might be suspect, but he could also play centrally as well. For fit, why I'm not super convinced that he fits the Barcelona style, the way Barcelona plays most of the time. I think because of the fact that he brings something new, he offers something different in the attack. So for fit, I would originally score this a 7 out of 10 as well. For value, this is where Barcelona have scored a very big point and a very big deal for themselves. For a player of his age, he's 24, a full German international. He's quite young. It looks like someone who could still grow. He has a somewhat higher ceiling than the level he's currently playing at. So I see Karim Adeyemi as someone who could actually grow, who could be better than what he is at the moment. 22 million euros, 7 million additional in add-ons. I don't think this is expensive for the player of his quality. Despite the fact that I think that his stock has sort of tanked, I think 22 million euros is not so bad. It's not so expensive for him. Looking at the amount that other players are going for in the current transfer window, I think 22 million euros for Karim Adeyemi is not a bad deal. For value, I'm going to score this 8 out of 10. Finally, for risk, in my opinion, I think this is quite a risky signing. Like I said, his stock has sort of been tanking. This is not the Karim Adeyemi that initially joined Borussia Dortmund. This is not the Karim Adeyemi that we know that made it to the German squad to the World Cup. His finishing is suspect, like he's not so good at finishing. His decision making as well can also be very suspect. And if you look at the Barcelona team, on the right, he's not going to be able to displace Lamine Yamal. On the left as well, we have Rafinha. Although Rafinha is injured, they also signed Anthony Gordon as well. This is someone that Karim Adeyemi would also have to compete with for certain place in the team. And it's not someone who could unlock a low block like these other footballers. Rafinha is better at unlocking a low block defense. Lamine Yamal is better at this. Karim Adeyemi, he thrives on space. He would need to run at the defense. He would need space to actually run and use his space to hurt the defense. So I think this is quite a risky signing for Barcelona. His finishing is not the best. He's not great at finishing, and this signing for me is giving Barcelona going back to their days of signing people like Adama Traore, Pierre Emerick Aubameyang, the sign of Luke De Jong. It's giving that 2022 Barcelona kind of signing. This is how I view the signing of Karim Adeyemi. He's quite low profile in my opinion. A low profile signing, not the kind of signing we've seen Barcelona sort of try to make in the last, let's say, 1 or 2 seasons. It's taken me back to 2021, 2022 Barcelona kind of signing. I think this is very risky. I think it's not as great as it used to be. And so for risk, I'm going to score this a 5 out of 10. Overall, for me, this signing, I will grade it a 6.5 over 10 for me in terms of an overall score for this signing. I don't think it's super great. It's sort of low profile. I don't even see him getting into the starting lineup immediately. Would have to compete for spaces for that. There is Lamine Yamal there, Rafinha when he come back from injury. There's Anthony Gordon as well. There's even Rooney Back as well. He's also there. He's someone that he would also need to compete with for spaces in the attack for Barcelona. The good thing that he has going for him is that he could play. He's quite versatile. He could play anywhere across the attack. His space can also be very useful when Barcelona does not want to maybe play. Barcelona sort of they likes to play a very high line, so he could run behind the defense with his space. He could hurt opponents with his space. So this is something that I say going on for him. He's also quite young. He's 24. He could develop to become a better player for Barcelona. So we'll wait and see. But for me, this signing is a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know what you think. Drop your opinion in the comment section if you think this is a great signing or whatever you think about the signing of Karim Adeyemi for Barcelona. So thank you so much for watching this. See you on the next one. Bye.